What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage and welcome to another episode of Impromp-Tune. It's been a while. It has been probably almost a month since we've done this. Got together on the weekend, shot the breeze, talked about cars, tuning, all kinds of fun stuff like that. I see we got a couple people in the chat room already. What is going on, everybody? I see DZ, Chad, Chris, Josh, Red X-Rays here. How is everybody doing this weekend? Anything interesting going on? What up, Jeff? Good turnout. Good turnout so far. We're up to 15 right off the bat. That's what I like to see. 92's back. Hey, Russ, what's going on? Darth, welcome back. Colton, good to see you. Drinking a cold beer tonight. Hey, Emerson, how you been? It's been a while, brother. Hey, Casey, welcome back. Work. Sorry, brother. Hey, Frank, what is going on? Joseph, welcome to the channel. I have been not doing much today. I did a lot of chili, made a lot of chili, ate a lot of chili. What's going on, Carl? Chris is remodeling his bathroom. I plugged into a 2.3 liter EcoBoost turbo Mustang today and bumped up the boost a little bit. Keith is doing an initial idle running, dialed in pretty close. Hunts watching the dogs. What up, Paul? Rocon, Montana. What is going on? People are just piling in. Interesting bill. That would make sense. So did it save you, is the question, Bill. Awesome. No, Darth Gibby, the leak patch did not work out. In fact, I cut that video off soon. If you really put a lot of pressure on that thing, it sounds like the world's squeakiest fart. Interesting, Casey. Fuel line sucking air. Hey, Paul, what's going on, brother? Good to see you again. Emerson saying, what do you know about how a car reacts when we remove the PCV valve? I got my car to run well for a bit, then it ran like crap after a while. Check for air leaks. Yeah, Darth, it's temporary patch. I gotta get that thing off there. I gotta fix that properly. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you again, man. Good to see that you're still functioning. I had to slow down myself. Carl got a Gen 4 E38 5.3 liter. And the tip in from idle to driving, I can't get to smooth out. Any idea? Tip in from idle to driving. What's it doing, Carl? Sweet, nasty. Cleaning parts for the 6 liter build 2.0. Russ Payne is working on the TBSS and injectors from a 2012 on my new body style. Red X-Ray's got a Gen 3 running open loop map only until I do the VE table. Should I re-enable DFCO? Not until you're done with your VE table. Because you will get all kinds of wonky lane stuff. DFCO does not change the commanded AFR or EQ. And so you can go in and filter out off a zero throttle, but I generally just leave DFCO turned off. I mean, it just runs rich is all. You can blow a cat out technically with DFCO if you're not careful. If you're running super rich and then DFCO kicks on top of it, you'll dump a lot of fuel into your exhaust and you can blow a cat out. But just don't do that. Dude, Lathan, there is so much stuff in there, but a lot of it, well, depending, you didn't, 2016, yeah, 2016, a lot of that is going to be based on torque, much like the Gen 5 GMs. He will have to push up the torque request, and that will allow you to actually, will allow the engine to make boost, because there is some duty cycle control over the wastegate, but it's more about having the torque, because whenever you max out the torque, much like on a GM platform, it will, instead of closing the throttle body off, it just actually opens up the wastegate. What's going on, Michael? Good to see you again. Carl's problem is likely a difference between idle timing table and the actual high or low octane tables in the idle areas. Yeah, definitely could be. Carl says, when I drive, I would hit the gas and it would go lean right away and then go right back to fine. Carl, what was your platform? Gen 4. Look at your transient fueling. Check out your wall impact. Bump it up a little bit. It'll be under fuel transient, and it is literally the amount of fuel that gets sprayed upon the intake manifold. And you might have to make adjustments to your milligram. You can bump your milligram up a little bit. Cheap Intentions, having issues with my truck where the idle comes up and down a lot, not using a map, just on speed density. What do you think? Cheap Intentions, Gen 5 Silverado. I just put a video out on that, man. And it's going to be your torque tables, most likely. What is your timing doing? Because that's a good indication on what is going on, Cheap Intentions. Contrary to popular belief, or I guess it goes against what we're normally looking for, you're going to be looking for about 0 degrees of timing on your idle on a 5th gen. That is just the way things work out. And if you have a lot of negative idle, it's because you have too much airflow. If you have a lot of positive idle, you don't have enough airflow. But unlike the 4th gens, that is not set up in an airflow idle map. That is all done through the torque tables. So check out that video where I messed around. It was probably 3 or 4 days ago. You'll find it easily enough. German's 12 hours. When you are done tuning, I don't zero out my timing modifier tables, Germans, because I want my adjustments that I make to my timing tables to reflect what those tables would do naturally. So if I have high IATs, I want that to pull timing out like it normally would and adjust my base timing around that. Rebuild pressure switches in the Tech M 09 Yukon. Now trying to watch videos and learn to tune it. 5th gear. Hangs on a while till I let off 25% throttle. I'm not sure, Joe. Pressure switches on 09 Yukon 6L80. What do you mean by hangs on? I guess. Is this just that you need to change your command to downshift or something? Russ Payne says, any good resources on scaling flex fuel injectors? Are you just adding flex fuel, Russ Payne? Is that what you're asking about? Colton, most likely a vacuum leak. Correct, sir. Yeah, Russ, most likely zero factor X's. Gotcha. Yeah, no, just find the data from whatever platform they were on. You should be able to match them up to your tables. What's going on, Nick? Nick, you missed everything Thursday. Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was the biggest party ever. No, we would have probably hit 75 if you'd been here, Nick. So that's all on you. Chevy for life. Why is your girlfriend hating? You are not raising her up right. You need to get her a proper set of wheels. Is she driving a Honda Chevy for life? Carl, extrapolate. What is a ghost tune? Dude, 386, where the hell you been? Yeah, apparently so, 92. Well, that's good to hear, Paul. That's good to hear, man. Ugh, Dodge. Is it a neon? What up, Straight Dumb? Welcome back. Girl must drive a neon if she's hating on the garage. Hey guy, welcome to the channel. Glad that you can make one of the live shows. Cheap intentions. Look at your injector. Make sure that you're not exceeding 6 milliseconds. That's how you know a Gen 5 is starting to run out of fuel. Well, man, I'm glad that you're able to jump into Night 386. Ah! Josh, you're at the movies. It better be a good movie. Frank, I'm going to put an LS in the Jeep by replacing the Jeep with something that has an LS in it. Welcome back, Dirt Floor. Glad to see you in here. Was hoping you'd make it tonight. 2018 Journey. She's a mom. What? You couldn't get her a Pacifica or Town and Country with that stow and go, huh? Cheap intentions. I've kind of done a meth kit video. I'm a strong supporter of meth kits, but tuning for a meth kit's super easy, man. You just basically do like you do MAF and speed density tuning. It's like you're literally just adding an extra injector. Straight Down says, so when you change VVE axis to 2 bar from 1 bar, is the data that calcs pretty much trash? No, it will recalc on VVE whenever you go from 2 bar to 1 bar. So, because all of that math is already there, some of that stuff will go a little bit wonky. Keep an eye on it. Look at the overall 3D of it before and after, Straight Down, and you'll see where the 2 bar was, or the 1 bar section was, and then where the 2 bar section comes in. But your 1 bar, excuse me, it's beer night. Your 1 bar should stay the same. That section should be about the same. Double check your RPM zones though whenever you do that. Like I'm going to be able to help you out, Chevy for life. Yeah, cheap intentions. You need to run one of those if you're going to do meth injection. You need to run the IAT breakout harness. So baro is less important because your barometric is on your MAF, but you need to break your IAT out, and then you need to inject between your mass airflow sensor and your IAT. There you go, LS the journey. I think you should, Remy. Chad, opinion on BTR Stage 4 cam V2 truck cam. Man, I like BTR spec cams, Chad. So you can't go wrong with BTR. They know what they're doing when it comes to cams. Jeremy, I'm surprised that well, I mean, let me ask you this. Hold on. We can pop that one out. It's Saturday night. Dilog for S&Gs, preparing for our wideband. Regular clap short bed 5.3 headers, no cats, carbon exhaust, air raid junior intake. Notice my map at wide open throttle is at 14.2. What do you mean your map is at 14? Are you reading your map in PSI? Yeah. Yeah, what's your barometric pressure at that, Jeremy? I mean, are you at what's your sea level? 14.6, 14.7, 14.5? You're in vacuum at wide open throttle, so you have a restriction. Cheap intentions. You bought a snow kit, right? What's going on, Geo? How's that camlope going? Yeah, Jeremy, you've got a restriction in your air intake somewhere. Nice catch. I need to do a video on that. Hard to do a video on that whenever you got a supercharger, though. I don't have an example. I need to dig through all of my logs and find a log that shows that. Chevy for Life on E38 3.6. I adjusted the VVT. Do I need to adjust the VVE? Will it hold me back also if I'm running E10? Do I need to adjust the E85 on VTT? What did you adjust on the VTT Chevy for Life? There you go. Nasty Chevy running the BTR Stage 4, made 413 at the tire. Be careful about doing the lash cap mod, Cheap Intentions. Because basically what you're doing is you're stroking your high pressure fuel pump more than it's designed to be stroked. You'd be better off doing a cam swap. Well, there you go. Yeah. Put a 76 millimeter turbo on that thing, Jeremy. You definitely don't want that high pressure fuel pump to die. If you're wanting to squeeze out a little bit more fuel without doing a cam swap, look at doing the LT1 pump and injectors. They're pretty cheap on eBay nowadays. Nick, the LTFTs have their own table that we don't have access to that are supplemental. It works in the background. Yeah, Geo, you're going to hit that limit where you get a lot of lope, but it has issues coming off. You got to just have to balance between the two. There you go. Cheap Intention is going to hook you up with a turbo. RC, I've got a video out there specifically on LTFT for tuning. Just go to the channel and search LTFT. It'll pop up, which I go into it. Just be aware that you cannot tune wide open throttle with long-term fuel trims. Did you just, Chevy for Life, did you just lower them down to retard the cam less? That's generally what we do, especially on those V6s, V4s, or V4s, I4s, inline four, well, all of them. The VVT is, in my opinion, I'm not the end all be all by any means, but I think most of the VVT stuff is there for fuel efficiency. I don't think that it's retarding the cam for power on most applications. So, Josh, you got a Trailblazer ECM that's drive-by-wire and capable of cruise. What are you doing? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, those things can be a bear, and they break easy. So, if you can run an E38, I'd suggest that. Straight dumb. I am drinking a Mother Earth Brewing Company, fresh as it gets. Man, that's so bright. Hold on a second. Fresh as it gets. Fresh hopped India Pale Ale. Very shiny. So. Oh, gotcha, Chevy for Life. I thought you were talking about the cam angles themselves. In fact, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me see if I got a log I can pull up here. See if this works. See if this even works. What do you think? Let's look at not a Mustang. Doop 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 doo. We'll look at this one. So, if you go in under airflow on these VVE variable camshafts, you have all these desired angles. Now, the first thing, if you can tell if you've got VVT based on this right here. They'll tell you which ones are being controlled. This is a V8. Your 4 cylinders will have 2. I don't know, the V6 may have 4. But, let me see here. What the hell just happened? There we go. All this crap right here, this is fuel efficiency. So, you notice how the rest of this cam is basically zeroed out until it gets up into the higher RPMs. You got to remember that this is amount of retard, not advance. So, this stuff down here will actually create some power loss. So you can kind of get rid of this stuff, this ugly 25-degree crap. You'll notice on the high, it's in a different spot, but same kind of ordeal. So you come in here and flush that stuff out. You don't have to do away with it all the way, but to give you an example, let's see if I have got, this is one of my crappy tunes. This is what my variable timing looks like. 2 degrees of retard at wide open throttle, and that's it. The rest of it, I'm running 0 degrees of retard. So that gives you a decent idea of kind of what's going on with the VTT, VCT, whatever the hell they want to call it nowadays. Yes, this is not a Honda. This is not VTEC. Skylar, I do a bunch of random swap BS, so you may not be able to help, but E38 from 2011 Silverado with LS3 Gold Blade throttle bottle and pedal from an '08 Monte Carlo SS. Which throttle map should I use? Log it in your, it's probably going to be A, but there is a parameter, Skylar, that you can log that will tell you which map you are on. So 99% of the time it's going to be map A, which is normal map. Josh Carroll, the 2 VE tables, are they separated? I've touched on this before. I can't remember. Somebody chime in on that. Because we talked about the 2 VE tables on the 3rd gens. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Let me see if I can find one. There's something very obvious about tuning the 2 VE tables. I just don't remember what. That's not one. That's not one. Let me find one here. Seriously, none of these are the dual dual. Wow, I cannot find a dual. Oh, you're right, Zero Factor. That is an EFI Live thing, isn't it? No, I thought that there was a high-low, though. Or a primary-secondary. Maybe I'm wrong. Hell, I've been wrong before. Going lean in between shifts. On your Silverado cheap intentions? That's what I thought, Jamie. That's probably Jaime. Sorry. I got a Firebird on here, though, and it doesn't have the 2 maps. It's an 01. I guess you said pre-01. I don't think I have any tune files pre-01. Kevin Kaiser, if you're an LS2, you are Gen 4. You might have a bastardized Gen 4, which has some of the Gen 3 stuff, but it is primarily a Gen 4. The LS2 was a transitional platform. Gotcha. Josh says it's only on 99 and 2,000 miles with the PO1s. Secondary VE versus, okay, hold on. Let me go find one here. Let me go download one so we can look at it. Because we've talked about this in the past. I just don't remember what it was. And I don't want to say anything that's blowing smoke out the ass, but we just need to look at it, see what it's doing. So let's look at a 99. Oh, that's right. The second one's for math fail. So make the first one match the second one. Thank you, Colton. That is correct. So you're technically, if you were to tune the first one whenever you're in math fail like you normally do VE, it will not make adjustments properly. But that's the one that is going to run on. Yeah, it's very weird. Chief intentions. Where the hell did that go? Going lean in between shifts. That's very weird. Are you the 6L80? You got a 6L80 in that? Most likely. Jeremy, man. I really like that throttle body. I just, man, it is super aggressive. Super aggressive. I didn't know a throttle body could be that aggressive. They can't match. Hold on now. I don't buy that. Really? Why can't they? Oh, I got you. Yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay. Let's look here. Primary. Secondary. Yeah, okay. Just doesn't go as far. Map. They can match. You can make these match. Well, I mean, they don't technically match, but you need to set up two separate VE error tables. You don't even have to do that. I would just set up two VE error tables, two graphs in your scanner, one for primary, one for secondary. The error is still going to be the same, and then you just make changes to both at the same time. Because it doesn't matter if it's in this one or the other resolution. So there's multiple ways that you could get around that. Thanks, PCT. Appreciate it, brother. Man, that's good to hear. What kind of boost are you getting up to? No, both of them are in KPA. It's just one has higher resolution, 92. I didn't blow it up. I just sent a bunch of junk through it. E69. That's an oddball. What is that on, Carl? Mike, thoughts on forcing PE constantly to force richer fuel mixture on closed loop bigger cam cars? Mike, that was how we used to do things back in the late aughts whenever we did not have access to the virtual volumetric efficiency tables. It was called raping your PE table. I don't think that there's much reason to do that anymore. Yeah, Carl, that sounds like one of those oddball cars. Jaime, I run a mix because straight methanol is just a little bit. In fact, I run windshield washer fluid, winter grade. Run winter grade, the negative 20. I buy it by the case from O'Reilly's. What up, Randy? Welcome back, brother. How's the truck doing? Sure thing, Josh. Appreciate it, man. Uh, well, Carl, the E69 is going to be virtual volumetric efficiency, so it'll be just like any of the other stuff. If you go into, if you go in underneath edit, you'll have a virtual volumetric efficiency table there. Obviously, this won't because it's a 99, but where's one of my files? Here, crappy. That's me. That's how I name my stuff. Crappy. Ah, I got you. Haven't got the fuel pump swapped out yet. Which one are you going? Which fuel pump are you putting in there? Carl, it's not there. 2011 Cadillac CTS 3.6. I think I got one of those. Let me see. 2011, maybe not. That's a 16, so that's going to be a different platform most likely. That's a 92. Okay, hold on. Let me find one. No, I do not, Bill. I don't mix my meth with Rain-X. Yeah, Carl, send it to info@goatropegarage.com. That'll save me having to look for one. Yeah, winter grade, like 20 below winter grade outside of California and Texas is around 30% methanol. Jaime says running the boost juice went from 1,000 to 1,500 cc and ran slower. Did you retune after doing that? I mean, yeah, I guess you said with fuel dialed in. No, probably shouldn't be. But what? Hey, Jaime, what's your setup? Or what kind of boost are you running? Thanks, Chevy, for life. I appreciate it. I am working on getting the audio sorted out because it sucks right now. But I finally got an audio meter so I can see whenever we're doing it. Next Thursdays, the audio should be a lot better. Yeah, don't do cheap intentions. Don't do anything that has any kind of detergents in it. Get the most basic uh, windshield washer stuff. And so that's why I run the just basic off the shelf -20 O'Reilly's, and it's dirt cheap by the case. 32 doesn't have any methanol in it. Straight dumb, no. I spray nozzle size based on how much I need to keep my injectors from maxing out. So, dude, cheap intentions. I had 2 bowls of chili today, so tomorrow I'm going to shift to performance on my shitting also. Chevy, I don't think any of the fast intakes are going to be taller than the stock truck intakes. Thank you, Paul. Have a sweet, sweet burnout. Appreciate it, brother. Really? You lost 8 miles an hour in the eighth off of that? And that's with boost juice? Dude, something doesn't seem right. Sure, you just weren't having traction problems. Nick, you should, in an ideal world, you should hit 100 kPa at wide open throttle. Mike, I have a C6Z06. If you want to send it up here, man, I'll take it. Oh, you got a question. I calibrated to VVE and MAF and open loop, and the car does not like to run at pump gas stoic. Runs great at 13.6 to 13.8, so I guess I have to scratch closed loop and keep it in open. What do you mean by does not like to run at pump gas stoic? That's worrisome. Sure thing, Paul. Anytime, brother. I appreciate it. DZ, call the guys at BTR. Tell them what your goals are. Tell them where you want the power. They will spec you a cam. I don't recommend cams because there are people out there that know 1,000 times more than I do on a cam, and that is Brian Tooley Racing. Exactly. Dirt floor knows. Dude, cheap intentions, you might have to hook me up then because I need to order some. Uh, I need to order all the auxiliary stuff for doing a cam install on my Gen 5. Tell her the beer is not good. I'm getting ready to go downstairs and grab a Rolling Rock though, and those are always good. Donnie Adams, on your '09 Sierra with tow package, there's a couple things that it's probably pulling it on. Let's see here. 2009 Corvette. That's pretty close, right? I've got so many 2009 Corvettes in here. Excuse me. Should be pulling in a different torque table. Trying to think what else it'd be pulling. A lot of it has to do with transmission, though. See you, Frank. Thanks for stopping by, brother. She said, ooh to the Rolling Rock. I haven't had Rolling Rock in 4 years, and so I bought a 12 pack yesterday. Yes, I will make a video on injection timing here soon, Skylar. Dude, Mike, I appreciate it, brother. Have a smoky burnout. Yeah, it's grape smearing off. Is that your girlfriend talking, Chevy? uh Skylar, the topic of injection timing on direct injection engines is just a big, in-depth, nasty monster of a topic, and so I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach it that makes sense that everybody can understand. Yeah, Mike, I will throw that directly towards the TIG welder so I can fix my leaks. I like vodka. Ah, cool, Mike. What was your AFSC? What did you do in the Air Force? Car sputters and stumbles at 14.7, and you're saying 14.7 off of your wideband, or 14.7. Now, let me ask you this: are you resetting your long-term fuel trims whenever you go back to closed loop? Like, there's a lot going on here. Closed loop should still work on bigger cam cars. It might have some issues down low, but for normal driving, once you get up in the RPMs, you get up to cruising RPMs, closed loop shouldn't have an issue keeping up. Russ says, when logging wide open throttle from a roll, how long of a delay is acceptable on the scanner when commanded drops into PE and the wideband shows fueling change? Well, it depends on how far away your wideband is, Russ. Durfloor, I need to take your approach and start saying back when I used to drink. Yeah, I know, cheap intentions. This is a nice thing about the Fords. About the only thing. Yeah, I know, dude. I was looking in the mirror today. I'm getting a little pudgy around the midsection here. You can still do a fresh air cowl on the AEM widebands, but generally, I think if you're having wideband issues reading, there's a good chance that it's probably not the wideband, but maybe a leak. Yeah, I feel you. Feel you, dirt floor. Rust Hard Log Tube headers. Wideband is mounted on the backside of the gutted cats right before the X pipe. Man, it shouldn't take long there. A couple milliseconds. Are you seeing a significant delay? Dude, cheap intentions. Don't even talk that way. We've got enough Ford people in here already without you thinking about switching over. Hmm. Hey, Wallace, welcome back, brother. Yeah, Russ, man, on something like that, that's quite a bit, but I would just apply filtering. Make sure that your cell hits is getting enough. You know, 5 minimum 10. That way you know that you're getting decent values in those cells whenever it is hitting, and it should kind of filter out some of the bad stuff on there. Uh, Mike, which fighters did you work on? Above 2,000 car runs great. Adjusted timing, minimum airflows. Still can't get to run smooth down low. Dude, Mike, that's a tough one. I can't really tell you without being able to see your tuning logs. Straight dumb, no, I don't. Who's got time for that? Who wants to pull timing in between shifts? Just jam it. Let go. Light it on fire, right? Dude, that's not a bad idea, cheap intentions, except I break them half the times. Yeah, Mike, I used to work on F-15s. I worked 15s and 16s. I prefer 15s because you can climb in those things and take a nap. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if this even works. Is it okay? We are looking for something that recognized like something like Darth gross. Yeah, Mike, I'm not trying to shill the Patreon, but by all means, if you want to get into it more, check out the Patreon. It's $15 a month, and we can sort it out. I try not to go too far off. Oh my God, what is this ugly thing? Sorry. I try not to go too far off the rails. Uh, just because there are people that are paying for that assistance, so it's only fair for them. Oh, what did you send me? Well, the good news is you don't have a volumetric efficiency table. What is this? Ugh. Yeah, cheap intentions, as I was saying earlier, wouldn't be a bad idea. Except my histograms don't always work, man. Mike, I do not have EFI Live yet. That is on the short list. The only problem is, man, they want a lot for that thing. They want $900. That is I know, Carl, that's the caddy. I'm looking at it. It's ugly. They want $900 for EFI Live. Ugh, that's a tough pill to swallow. I can buy a lot of car parts for $900. Dude, there just ain't nothing here. Oh my goodness. You'd think that this thing was in basic mode. There's nothing here. Okay. Hey, good news. Well, you don't have a okay, Carl. You don't have a dynamic. Yes, you're right. 92 LS kit. Yeah, I could get 900 balls of O'Reilly's windshield washer fluid. Exactly, and the credits are 125 bucks. Uh, Carl, there doesn't seem to be anything that indicates that this has speed density tuning to it. This may be MAF only because you don't have dynamic airflow. Normally, I would just say that it's because there's not enough parameters on here. They haven't added the parameters, but I'm not seeing anything that indicates. Are you sure that there is a map sensor on this? Jeremy, I noticed you said you had a draft shaft come from together. I don't know what you're trying to say there. Jeremy, I had a drive shaft explode at 130 miles an hour. I don't know what you're asking about, but yes, two pieces are better because they have higher critical RPM rates. Carl, yeah, I don't know that you would necessarily have volumetric efficiency on here. It is may just be a MAF only operations. Nah, cheap intentions. 138 on ain't crazy on a truck until the drive shaft explodes. And whenever you've got a pro charger and meth injection on there, it doesn't take long to get to 130 miles an hour. It made for an interesting ride, though. I've got chunks of it. Yeah, Mike, you are correct that the HP Tuners forums is way more active. Uh, I know that EFI Live has access to some parameters that HP Tuners doesn't. But generally, if you email the guys at HP Tuners, they will add those parameters. Yeah, exactly. No, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for my drive shaft because it is a. I'm back on the stock one. It is a huge weak point right now. So I've not been able to find anybody that's willing to build me a two piece. So I've got to find somebody that's going to do a custom two piece setup. Well, the single piece drive shafts, it okay, you have to also realize that whenever I was doing 130, that was with 456 rear gears. So that was really spinning. Kevin, you probably can't do that with HP tuners. You need to get a thermostat based relay module for that. Cheap intentions, I'll send you the 456. They're sitting in a box on the shelf right now. I'll trade you for something. They were fine until I put the supercharger on. They made the truck a lot of fun. Once I put the supercharger on, it made the first two gears completely unusable. So I think I'm back at 342s now, which means I've got multiple sets of 342s floating around. I've got a set of 342s in the truck, then I've got another set of 342s somewhere. Ross, I don't know that they're ever going to do that because technically it is for off-road use only. So yes, Ross, yours can, but your fans and fan temps were already adjustable from stock. It wasn't a clutch setup. I don't know that there's a way to go from a clutch setup to an electric style. For that high of a gear, probably not for a while. You don't need forced induction with a 456 rear gear on with a 6L80. And you don't need to go past 100 miles an hour because you're spinning the hell out of the engine whenever you are. Oh, well, there you go. I'm surprised that it would let you do that on a system that did not have fan control from the factory. Good to know. Good to know. There you go. Learn something new today. You know, Fort Wayne is who did my drive shaft, and I don't even think I called them about it because I knew it was in part due to the fact that uh, I was running the 456. Mike, okay, the only reason with that is you want to have the primary IAT that you're running your ECM off of after the meth injection because you want that uh, because it helps with your timing. You've got an IAT table in there specifically for adjusting timing retard. And so you want to see the drop in your IATs whenever your meth is injecting so that it can offset it properly that way. I mean, you could still do what you're saying. Well, Adam, axles ain't the problem. It's all about the drive shafts. I've got Yukon axles. Yeah, your primary you want to be post injection. And if you add another one to see if you're how much differential you're getting, you can put that one and then you can bring it into your pro interface. If I stick with a one piece, I'll go with a carbon next time. Low buck, on my setup, I see probably 3 to 4 degrees over ambient under boost. On long pulls, like long gear pulls, I can see below ambient. So it makes a pretty big difference. Yeah, 325. That's kind of what people have told me. Also, they make them for the crew cabs or whatever, or the extended cabs because the crew cabs already have them. And I keep on telling us like, hey, I want one for a regular cab. And they're like, oh, you can get away with a one piece. And I'm like, yeah, you can get away with a one piece until it explodes at 130 and throws shit through your gas tank. Kevin, stick around. You'll learn how to tune, man. You can't help but learn how to tune. Whoo! 120s. Throw some meth injection on there, man. Cool it off before it even hits the magnet charger. It is right now. I had the supercharger, or I had the intercooler off of it, Adam. But even with methanol, my IATs were climbing a little bit, so I threw it back on. And I need to reroute my intake because I've swapped over and just have a filter directly on the inlet of the Pro Charger. And so it's way too close to the exhaust. Jeff H, if you connect up to it with your if you connect up to it, Jeff, and go into vehicle info while you're connected. Hold on, let me hide this window here. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. If you go in from channels, there is a button that says details, and it'll show in vehicle info here. and it will tell you whether or not it is CAN bus or not. Probably is not CAN bus if it is an 07. But it will say in info right here, it'll say protocol info, and it'll say CAN if it is CAN. Okay, Jeff? Kevin, yes, there is an IAT on LS2. It is probably in the MAF. There you go. 92's got you. Donnie, the only reason an E85 is not worth it is that you can't get it everywhere. Straight dumb. E85 plus meth is greater than everything. Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the support, brother. Have a good night. 2008, Randy. Not to say that there might be a couple that are offshoots, but 2008 is whenever GM widely adopted CAN bus. Can you run a Duramax map sensor, move the IAT wire from the map to the... Hell, I mean, as long as the scaling's the same, I would check the scaling cheap intention, see what the output is. Yeah, Wallace, I use O'Reilly's -20 windshield washer fluid. It's about 25% methanol. Chevy for life, yes. The slot style masks have built-in IAT. Some of them have built-in barometric pressure also. Brian, trying to get my project idling right. It pop bangs on startup, and if it's under about 1100 RPMs. Reading the scanner, it shows one of the LTFs maxing out at 25%. You need to get your fueling dialed in, or you got a bad O2 sensor, Brian. 25% is the max LTFT. And that is a lot of fuel. So if your fueling is incorrect and that thing is throwing an additional 25% fuel on that, that is a ton. Mike, I've not messed with heat. Aw, thanks, Michael. You want to make me blush. Make me blush. Or a mechanical problem. Donnie, there's a good website out there that shows you all of the E85 stations on a map. That's what I use. No, Kevin, the MPVI2 will work on anything. It works on anything the first gen works on. Brian, you swapped the O2s from either side, reset them, and it did the same thing. Wallace, it's blue. There you go. Cheap intention says you run washer fluid. Add 3 bottles of heat, makes it 50-50. Chevy for life. I have to drive at least 10 minutes to get to E85 here. I do run it, but my tune was technically based on 93, and so I've not really done a lot to the E85 timing to get it dialed in. It's kind of a pain in the ass because I got a 15-gallon fuel cell, and on my truck, I burn through gasoline so damn fast. Nice, Adam. Yeah, Brian, that's... Make sure you don't have an exhaust leak on bank one. Because if you have an exhaust leak on bank one, Brian, you could get some air in there, and it will think that you're running lean and will crank that thing rich as hell. So check for an exhaust leak around your bank one exhaust. Yeah, cheap intentions. I have been fine with the stock fuel system on E85 with 1,000 cc methanol injection. So I don't remember how many PSI up to, but I know up to 10 PSI. E85 on the stock system has worked. Good Lord, 216, Mike. 216. How can you not run E85 in Oklahoma? The problem was I lived in El Reno, and the closest place to get E85 was Weatherford. So by the time I'd get to Weatherford and back, I'd be out of gas. Doesn't take long on the 5.3s, Ross. The direct injected L83s run out of injector real quick. Real quick. I'm going to go grab a beer, guys. I'll be right back. You can probably still hear me. Okay. Okay, recent logs. Aha, I'm back already, smartass. Let's see here. Jeff H, are you still here? $265. Good to see you, Mike. Thanks for stopping by, bud. Yes, I am. Hey, Jeff, this is what I was talking about. Right here. Protocol info. It'll say CAN. Let you know if you're on a CAN bus. I'm telling you right now, Chevy for Life, that Rolling Rock tastes like water after that beer I just drank. Let's see here. Shit, that ain't good. I was about to freak out. I opened up this log and I started scrolling through boost pressure. And I'm like, well, that's quite a bit of boost pressure. And I kept on scrolling down through boost pressure here. I'm like, holy shit, we broke 21 psi of boost pressure. Then I realized that this is on a Mustang. This is on that Ecotech that I was bumping pressure up on earlier. I thought it was on the Silverado for a second. I was about to have a heart attack. No, Ross, I don't. I've got a video that talks about meth a little bit, but how to add meth is pretty straightforward. You add the meth, and then you just tune it like normal. You literally go through and just do math tuning and speed density tuning like normal with the meth. Then afterwards, you can probably squeeze a little more timing out on the top end. Bingo. Yep. Just treat it like normal. Rob, I run QA1s on my truck all the way around, all four corners. This must have been on the. Oh, excuse me. This must have been on the drive home. What's going on, Rogelio? Welcome back, brother. I was looking this up for some reason. I don't remember what the hell for. Cheap intentions. What time do you consider a safe EA593 on these Gen 5s? Without boost or with boost? Because you can get up to like 30 degrees, 35 degrees pretty easily on these. Direct injection allows you to run a lot of timing. Oh, on boost, 20, most likely. If you can get above 20 without getting into knock, you're probably doing pretty good. Whew. Hell yeah, Brian. Check back Thursday. Let us know how it goes. Rogelio, there's a different table for the first couple minutes based off of ECT that you need to be looking for. That's what your problem is. You've got everything tuned in on the base side of it, but whenever you're firing that thing up, it's not necessarily running on that truck or running on that table. So double check and make sure that you're not in a transitional zone. Because if it runs fine whenever everything's warmed up and stuff like that, you're probably in a transitional zone the rest of the time. Dude, Nick, how have you not seen it? I wish Scott was here. He could send us a link to it. Yeah, don't mess with Spark Dwell, Chevy for life. Spark Dwell is, you can burn your coils up pretty easy. $20 degrees is quite a bit, Russ. That's awesome that you're getting that at 14 PSI boost. Yeah, Rogelio, there's something going on. Dirt floor, I got a beer fridge, brother. You don't. It's down in the garage. It's where it belongs. I finally bought one. There's pictures of it out there somewhere. I'll still take your $20. Thanks for the burnout. Seriously, Nick, why don't you just watch the video? Kevin, on a stock engine, you can go through and do math tuning and volumetric efficiency tuning, and it won't make a big difference because, yeah, exactly, it's the TIG welder fun now. It won't make a big difference because of closed loop fueling, which pulls everything back in. But you can also pick a little bit up on the timing. But it's always a good idea to go through those steps, especially on a stock vehicle, because it's pretty easy, and it's a good way to learn. So do math tuning. You got to remember that the tune that is in your vehicle is designed for 50,000, 100,000 vehicles that came out that year. Yeah, probably not, Dirt Floor. If you'd seen how I weld, because I've got what's called essential tremors, it's basically a precursor to Parkinson's disease. I shake like a dude going through detox, stacking dimes. No, Kyle will be laying dimes in crooked angles on top of each other, if anything. But yeah, Kevin, it's always tuning a stock engine. There's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, unless you really screw it up, you're not going to do any damage if you do something wrong. And you'll pick some horsepower up on the timing, because the timing is pretty conservative, Kevin, and the power enrichment is very conservative on those. Good to hear it, Ross. Yeah, that sounds about right, Adam. 17 degrees, 20 psi on E85. E85 has such good detonation preventative. Dude, me too, 92. Wait a second. You were able to get a 12 underneath your truck, cheap intentions? Because I've been thinking I got to get my 15s ordered up this winter for next spring. Yeah, straight dumb. You are correct. Most GM fuel tables are gross. Well, they're just disturbingly rich, and then they just allow the narrow bands to take out all the excess fuel. Yeah, Chevy for life. That's probably about the most that you're going to get out of it, off of it, short of switching it over. I mean, are you running on 93 still, or did you bump those up? There's going to be some videos specifically on torque tables coming out in the next 2 weeks, I promise you, because I have to retune my torque tables. They are gross right now. I set them back to stock. I couldn't even drive the truck down the road because I was bumping into torque considerations. Poor. Dude, fast enough. You get that wideband in, let me know. We'll get that thing sorted out. Dude, straight dumb. If I do I've already done a VTT video. It's how to disable VTT. Go look it up. It's how to turn that shit off. How to dial it back. VTT for the loss. Chevy for life, 25% on your MAF and MAP is not too much if that's how much you need. Depends on your mods, man. How much air are you adding? Is your vehicle breathing 25% more air? How's my phone at? Yeah, I think my wife's passed out. Dude, you do not need 25% on your MAF and MAP if it's stock. Torque tables. Virtual torque. Gotcha. I thought you were talking about VVT. Yes, we need to do virtual torque tables. VTT. You are correct. Sorry. See, this is what I hate about these. What the hell they call them? Anagrams or what? Not anagrams, but we got VVE, VVT, VTT. Kevin, I'll send you a link to an excellent battery charger. Fast enough, you can add a 10% lower pulley. Acronyms, thank you. Yeah, enough acronyms, people. Honestly, fast enough, a 10% lower pulley on your setup probably wouldn't take you out of the realm of correctability, except for in wide open throttle, it might be an issue. Seriously, Donnie. I know, guys. I know. Torque tables. And if you're on a Gen 4 platform, don't worry about them. Listen. If you're on Gen 4s, don't get hung up on torque tables. It doesn't affect you as much as people might be led to believe. Gen 5, it is your life. Everything that you do is torque tables. Brian, thank you, brother. Appreciate the smoky burnout. Sounds good, Bill. Thanks for stopping by, man. Enjoy this beautiful weekend we're having up here. Chevy for life. No, you do not need to change the E85 tables if you're running 10% ethanol. Yes, they have torque tables for the Gen 4, but they are more to do with just torque management. Whereas on the Gen 5s, it is everything. Kevin, I have been tuning since 2002, 3, somewhere around there, 2003, and I started out on imports. So I did Subarus back in the day. Then I did rotaries for a little while. Uh, then I did domestics. Then I went back to Subarus, and then I came back to domestics. Brian, I am out of the Pittsburgh area. Oklahoma native. 2012 is not Gen 5. That's going to be a Gen 4 Chevy for life. Uh, yeah, Gen 4s are surprisingly straightforward. The first curveball that came out of those were the virtual volumetric efficiency stuff, but that has been mastered for the most part. And the biggest stuff that you're going to have to deal with is RPM zones. A lot of the torque stuff that, even though it has virtual torque, is not critical. Winter Project 454 4L80 in a 64 Pontiac. Which Chevy? No, Racer Glenn. If you're going to do that, man, go with a Holly unit. Don't mess with the Chevy ECM, man. Go aftermarket on that setup. Dub Sanchez, Dodge Pentastar tuning, speed density only. I love Subarus, Donnie. Hey, Brian, welcome to the channel. Man, we got some new people in here. Just popped up out of nowhere. Justin, give me some more insight as to what your setup is. You're asking about IAT heat soak on a Gen 3 3-bar SD. Suggest changing the bias table. I would run the IAT in the charge pipe if possible. Chevy for life, that is always an option. $15 for the Patreon will get you the tuning assistance email. About anybody in here that spends the $15 a month will tell you that it is well worth the money. Best $15 that you're going to spend in tuning. Yeah, Racer Glenn, look at the Holly Terminator setup, stuff like that. If you're going to go over to something like that, a serious setup like that, and you want to go over to fuel injection conversion, I would do something. And honestly, the amount of money that it would take to do the conversion, you're not going to be far off from what the Holly is anyways, and it's going to be a lot easier. Exactly. Yeah, the Dominator setup is really, really dope. Terminators are awesome. Chevy for life. You would have to go severely broke to get my kind of money. There you go. Dirt Floor's chiming in. Are you running the Terminator setup, Dirt Floor? I know you had talked about it. Appreciate it, Kevin. Listen, if you master HP tuners, Justin, Holly will be so easy for you because it is such a pared down. Even if you were to go absolutely crazy and run something like a Haltech, if you can tune on HP tuners, any of the standalone systems are going to be way too simple. Hey, Chevy for life, tell her that I'll send her a koozie. That's what you get, a free koozie for signing up. Yeah, I like the sniper systems. I got one of those sitting down in Oklahoma on a as a carburetor replacement setup. Yeah, the beer is kicking in. Not this beer, the previous beer was kicking in. Hell yeah, brother. There's worse ways to pop head gaskets. Oh, Colton, I would probably run an air motive. I like air motive fuel pumps, to be honest with you. I tell you what, Chevy for life, make sure that you let me know who you are, and I'll send you two so she can have her own. That way you can share. You guys can be koozie buddies. Represent the garage. I mean, who wouldn't want to drink a beer out of one of these sweet Goat Road Garage koozies? Aeromotive is expensive, man. And then, I mean, you could go to the merch store and or the go to the website and you can get a sweet coaster packs. I got a whole stack of coasters here. Got all kinds of shit. I gotta be a salesman here. I gotta pimp my stuff. Never, man. You can put whatever you want into it. My wife uses it to drink her sparkly waters. Yeah, 92, that's what I have is a 340 Aero. Granted, I've got the in tank one, but I've been very happy with the Aeromotive stuff. You got to pay a little more money, but that might be one of the cases where, I mean, honestly, how much does two AEM 400s cost? So, two AEM 400s probably get you the price of a Aeromotive inline. And the Stealth 340s are cheap. Man, Power Glide next year. That's what I'm talking about, Dirt Floor. I was looking at 4L80 swaps tonight. I don't need to, but I do. Red X-Ray, a goat rope. If you're from the South, you would know that a goat rope is somebody help me out. Mike, are you still? Yeah, Mike, how would you say what is a goat rope? It is like monkeys fornicating with a football. Cheap. I do not track the truck. I will next year. Yeah, like herding cats. There you go. There you go. Snafu, situation normal, all effed up. That's what a goat rope is. I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I'm going to get some track time on the truck next year, but if I take it to the track, I'm going to get a proper drive shaft for one. And I've already got the truck set up to take 15s on the rear, so I just need to see how wide I can run. Yeah, I run the Stealth Cheap Intentions. I run the Stealth 340. I run it with the factory fuel pump control module on a returnless system. Bingo, Donnie knows. No, I'm still on 6-bolt. I would have switched to 5-bolt, but I'd already bought the upgraded 6-bolt axles from Yukon, so I didn't want to spend more money to do that. I'll just run Race Stars because Race Star has a 15 by 10 rear for the Silverados. Brake conversion. Had to pull the parking brakes off and then run a S10 rear brake with a caliper. Really small, or a real small rotor. Kevin, I would not until you start maxing out your injectors. Yeah, Harry, it's a pretty good video, man. I enjoy watching it. Dude, I don't remember Chevy for life. I got it off of 1340 wheels. They have a conversion. Oh, quit your crying, Adam. Right now, I'm running a 17. I don't have my 15s yet. I had to do the conversion though because the 17-inch, even the 17-inch rears hit on The factory on the factory brakes. No, you don't have to change master. The 17. I'm running the 17 by 9s. I can't remember. I'm running general UHPs, the grabber UHPs. I can tell you what size they are. Let me look them up real quick. View all specs. Where we at? Where we at? $275.55. Running $275.55 in the rear, $255.60 in the front. Sure thing, fast enough. That's what I'm here for, man. Bring it, brother. It'll be like that last time I raced a Fox Body Mustang. I had my RX-7. It was an FD twin turbo. I kept on whipping the shit out of this Fox Body Mustang 5.0. And so finally I told him, I was like, listen, man, I'm going to race you in reverse. Whenever I run out of gear, if you haven't passed me before then. Dude, Cheap Intentions, you just need to sponsor the channel. If you're a dealer for all of these companies, you need to get me Raystar prices. See what the 15 by 10 Silverado offset Raystars are. Because I need a set of those before next spring. My truck ain't fast. Ford powered. Yeah, it was still a Ford powered. There you go. Chevy for life. I charge for ride-alongs, man. Just like anybody else that charges for life-changing experiences. Disneyland ain't free, brother. Bingo. Ain't about how fast you are, it's about how quick you are. You better get on it, Chevy for life. By the time you get the S10 where you want it, Super Auto is going to be the next level of craziness. We're already looking at F1As for it. No more 456 gears. I'm not putting 456s back in it. I'm too scared about blowing out drive shafts. We could probably get the truck down to 5s in the 8th. I mean, it's already got a full 4-link drag suspension underneath it. Might need to, throw a TH400 in there and re-gear it a little bit, but we can definitely do it. No, straight dumb. At that point in time, we will have to figure out something else to do with the pulley setup. I mean, technically, you could probably run an F1A with the 6 rib as long as the pulley was big enough. Do they have an 8 rib? I haven't been to Innovator West. Whoa. You know what I'm talking about, Straight Dumb. I have not been to their website in a while. There was back whenever I first supercharged my truck, there was not any 8 rib kits for the Silverado Sierra setup yet. There was another guy that was having some stuff done that was custom, and it was super expensive. And so I didn't get into it because I wasn't having belt slip. Dude, I don't want a D1X. I want F1A. F1A or bust. Is the D1X that new electronic one that's got the funky black thing hanging off of it, the black mushroom? Okay, okay. The dude with the 6.2 liter that kept on blowing his motors up. Somebody was blowing his motors up. Was not me. I had nothing to do with his shitty tunes. Justin, you should go down there and holler at that guy and see if he wants to sponsor a video. Seriously. Let me know what the F1As are going for on list, because I don't want to have to get to the point where I have to start being a dealer on some of this stuff to get decent prices. Yeah, Mike, seriously, like, this is pretty decent setup. Justin, my setup is I'm running a 15 Silverado with a P1 SC1, meth injection, solar throttle body, L86 intake manifold. Hell, I can't remember. It's about 14 psi setup. It's got a pretty small pulley. It needs to be changed over to an 8 rib. Tell him if he cuts me a deal on a pulley setup, on an 8 rib setup, I will definitely do a 2 or 3 video feature on Innovators West. You don't need a dedicated drive setup for an F1A, right? What's the next one down then? There's one of the F1s that you can run on the standard P1D1 bracket setup. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, definitely. Send him a link to the channel. If he's interested, we can set something up. I did something with solar here soon, or here recently, solar throttle bodies. They seem to be pretty happy with it because I was happy with it. Dude, Mike, you know, I love turbos, don't get me wrong. Who is the Porcopotamus? Why does that ring a bell, Chevy for Life? Exhaust lip. Oh, yeah. Faster prom setup. That's right. Dude, I would love to play around with the Porcopotamus. I would love to just go out and hang out with him because he's one of the guys that I actually, Jeremy's one of the guys I actually enjoy watching his stuff because he's not full of BS. Straight dumb. You know, I'm trying not to go to LT4 high pump fuel pump and high pressure fuel pump and injectors. Injectors are probably definitely going to have to. I have to get this cam in because I got a 30% cam. Yeah, that's a lot of weight that he's hauling around there. That's what I thought. I didn't think that the do they make an F1A 92? Is it the 92 that's the next one stop down from the 94? Well, and the thing about it, Colton, is Jeremy is much like me. Is if he runs into an issue, he will not sit there and blow smoke out of his ass. Donnie, I'd have to double check and see. BTR spec'd it out for me. I called them up, said what I was running. Supercharger cam. I think it's supposed to be a 3,000 RPM power cam. So I need to do the cam, need to do a converter, but I've held off doing the torque converter because I don't think that I want to stick with the 6L80. So, man, I should have brought 2 beers up. These little ones go pretty fast. I mean, we got over 50 people in here still, so I guess we could probably keep on rolling for a little bit while if you guys want to hang out. What's the 8701? Dude, straight dumb. That thing does not have a smaller butterfly, but it does have machining on the butterfly itself. And then it did, as I said, some radiusing around the edges that makes the tip in on that thing crazy. Crazy, because I came off of hey Brian, thanks for stopping by and thanks for the tip earlier. I appreciate it, bud. It literally is freaking crazy. I had the K-Tech 87 ported unit, the LT1. This technically is an LT1 LT4. It is a still an 87. It's what they call a 90 millimeter effective, which I thought was BS until I installed it. Good luck, Brian. Win that PT test. Kevin, the L86 manifold is probably the best flowing Gen 5 factory manifold. Aftermarket manifolds flow better, but the L86 flows better than the LT1 manifold. Okay, cheap intention. So the F1, the FD, and the F1A will fit on the standard bracket. I think the F1A is the one that's probably the one to go with. Chevy for life. My truck does about 1,000 to 1,500 miles a year. Well, I don't know, Dirtfloor. I'm either going TH400 or I'm going to 4L80. I would put a damn power glide in it if I thought the truck wasn't too heavy. But honestly, well, I'm not too worried about overdrive. TH400 is probably the way to go. The big thing is going to be, yeah, no, I know it's too heavy for a power glide. If I go 4L80 though, I'm probably going to go and get one that is not electronically controlled. I think I will swap it out and go all manual valve body, manual shifter, all that jazz, and just do away with it and do a Chevy for life. I have no clue, honestly. I've not scaled it. I have got corner scales down in Oklahoma. I just never got it put on the corner scales. Wish I would have. Scott, I mean, it's assholes and elbows, man. Everybody has their own opinion on ProCharger versus Vortec and Paxton. I think it depends more on whether or not you have a bow tie, or a blue oval. Torque tables don't care about that, Skylar. Not on the Gen 5. There are commands that come from your TCM that basically retard timing and stuff like that, but all that stuff can be done away with pretty easily. So it is probably easier to integrate a manual valve body, manual shift style than it is to try and do the conversion. Now, there's guys out there that have the conversion. I want to say Dave Steck has the conversions out there already for doing the 6L80 to 4L80 on the Gen 5s, but you're in the case that I'm using it, it's probably better just to go old school. Ah, good to see. Glad you enjoyed it, Nick. Yeah, 4L60 is not viable. Kevin, there's good reasons for all of them. Obviously, I'm going to say Gen 3 through 5 because we can easily tune those. But Gen 3 is easy to tune. Gen 4 is probably going to be my favorite. It's been my favorite to tune. It's easiest to make power on. It has more potential for power than the Gen 3 stuff. Gen 5 stuff is cool. I just don't like the direct injection. I like the direct injection. I just don't like having the limitation of the high pressure fuel pumps. The fuel system's just a little bit of a pain in the butt and it's expensive. Yeah, port injection is nice because it's easy to upgrade. I have not seen that. I'll have to look it up. It's beer time, gentlemen. I'm going to mute the mic so you can't hear me taking a leak. You're right, John. We're still here. I had to go get another beer. Scott, those OS upgrades are dependent on your situation, man. Oh. Dirt Floor, when are you getting this Regal, man? Nothing wrong with that, John. Hey, Frankie, welcome to the channel, man. What parameters do I need to verify in my tune if it keeps dying after a high rev? 4L 48 LS base swap 98 Silverado. Check your throttle follower. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You have a Regal wagon. Frankie, if you have throttle follower in your options, disable it. Just disable it completely. Throttle follower is BS. You'll be under idle, under your idle menu. Mm-mm-mm-mm. 6 months, man. That's quite a bit. Surprised. Damn, I go get a beer and like 5 people disappear. What's going on now? Sweet. Yeah. Man, I was looking at 70, 71 Chevelles today. Dude, I almost bought one about 4 years ago, and I'm kicking myself in the ass because talk about the price ballooning out. It's ridiculous. Mm. Well, they should have stayed in the channel fast enough. Go get a beer, stay in the channel. I got to keep this viewership up. Why is that? I thought your girlfriend was going to bed. Easy now. Ugh. Yep. You need to just become a contortionist. Get a wife with very small hands to reach back there and get that cylinder 8 out for you. Dude, therefore, you'd be surprised whenever we were house shopping this last time we bought this one. I found a building that was like 6 bays, and then it had an unfinished area up above it that was like zoned for residential commercial. I was like, baby, we can finish off the upstairs. It's like, this is the perfect house. 6 car bays. Like 2 of the bays already has pits in them. Like, I don't necessarily care about pits, but sure thing, Kevin. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate the support. Welcome to the Patreon whenever you sign up. You can easily find the Patreon by going to www.goatropegarage.com along with everything else. Seriously. Perfect. That's 250 square foot of living area more than you need. I don't even want that. I just want probably a 20 by 30 with 18-foot ceilings. Don't need a lot. I just need enough to get 2 cars in, 1 on a lift. That's what kills me. Back in Oklahoma, I've got a 4-post lift, big shop, all that fun jazz. 60 by 80 would definitely be nice. Dude, you know what, John? I think if I were to do a dyno, I'd do a hub dyno. I've got 2 acres here, so I've got plenty of room to build a shop if I ever get around to it. It's going to have to be a lot of dirt moved and a couple trees cut down, but I definitely have the acreage to build a shop. I've got an area scoped out at the bottom of the driveway there. It'll be perfect if I get around to it. All dinos are cash. Boats are just holes in the water in which you throw money in. No, Ross. You know what? I'll trade you out, Ross. You come work in my 2-car garage with my extended knocked out wall that I did this week, and then go back to your 30 by 52. Seriously, John, if he ain't going to use it, man. Trust me, if you can find a house that already has a shop, that is the way to go. All of my biggest regrets in life are not buying enough land, are not buying something that already has a shop on the property. Exactly. 80 acres, you got plenty of room for a shop. Appreciate it, Mike, man. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, see, that's what generally happens. But your 30 by 40 is a nice size, man. I really like your shop. So that's probably what I'm going to shoot for if we end up staying here. Yeah, you're right, Brian. But I mean, we're not planning on staying in Pennsylvania. We're going to go back to Oklahoma because a 30 by 40 shop in Pennsylvania would buy you a 60 by 80 in Oklahoma. I got to make all these YouTube's monies. Got to make the YouTube's money so I can move home, quit my job, and become a YouTube influencer or some shit like that. I won't build a shop. I'll build a production studio. John, let me know how that goes, man. If you do that, let me know. I want to come out and shoot a video series about using it. See, that's not bad, man. I'd be happy with 20K for a 60 by 40. But I'm pretty sure that a 60 by 40 on my property would cost at least 45 because of all the excavation work that would have to go into it. Yeah, and concrete is crazy. There you go. I'm going to have to look that up straight down. Look up some DIY dynos. Dude, 30 by 50, that's nice. 16,500. Where's that at, Frankie? Dude, I can insulate it. Insulation ain't nothing. I can insulate it. I need somebody to come out, pour the slab, put the walls up, probably tie it into the mains because I'd have to have a new transformer set. But as far as any of that goes, I can run all the electrical, run all the insulation. You're damned right, straight dumb. Well, see, Frankie, that's exactly it. You're in Texas. I can afford fried chicken. I just can't afford the concrete. Yeah, straight dumb. You're right. Having the hillside flattened, I've got to have at least 5 80-foot trees dropped, which is super expensive, super expensive, and then probably another 5 40-footers dropped. So it's just like there's nothing cheap. Yeah, see, I don't need an AC unit up here. Killjoy, I feel you, brother. Yep, 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 yep. Yeah, yeah. Well, as I said, I can wire it. I don't need to plumb anything into it. I don't need. Well, a sink would be nice, but oh, I'm sure, straight dumb. Those guys get good money for climbing those things and roping limbs down and stuff. Makes me scared to death to even have somebody come out here and quote one. But I did knock a wall out Monday. I did expand the garage. I had a 10 by 10 office off the side of my garage that I opened up as part of the garage. Dude, Ross, PennDOT would get super pissed off at me because I would drop a tree across the highway. It's not necessarily a highway, but it is a PennDOT road. Have a good one, 325. We're going to wrap it up here soon, anyways. It's getting late on my end. Yeah, yeah. Therefore, thank you as always for stopping by. I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for helping out, moderating as usual. I ain't cutting any of these trees down. My little 16-inch chainsaw is not big enough. What do you think, guys? It is 11 o'clock Eastern, which means it's a yes, dynamite. It is 4 hours past my normal bedtime. The wife is coming back from Orlando tomorrow, so good impromptu tonight. We did a good solid 2 hours. Thanks for the turnout, everybody. It's good to see a lot of the familiar faces and a couple of the new ones. Oh, you should have spoken up earlier. Welcome to the channel. Frankie, welcome to the channel. It's good to see some new faces out here. Yeah, straight dumb. Bring some good questions on Thursday. Listen, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure and tune in Thursday nights, 8 Eastern for Intune, the official live channel. Yeah, John, glad you popped in here. Exactly, Darth. ABT, everybody, always be tuning. And thanks for stopping by the garage.